Nice to meet you.
José, nice.
Cineville in the Netherlands.
Nice. Oh, there you go. Oh, we are on camera, so I'm going to put this coffee here.
Everybody, this is a hijack situation!
We call upon revolutionary movements everywhere to focus the attention of the world on the Palestinian people's struggle.
Germans hijacking a plane load of Israelis. Jews.
We have to act. There can be no negotiations with terrorists.
We don't want to hurt anyone. We're humanitarians.
I look at the context of the hijack. When you look at the hijackers relating to the hostages, and you see how there was a certain kind of a confusion, which is obvious because if you are a terrorist, you have to be confused.
In the case of Brigitte Kuhlmann, actually, there's little about her. There's a surprising deficit of information. Her most notorious act was this one, and she didn't live beyond it. An old boyfriend of hers posted a picture on Facebook of her in her sort of early 20s, and it was a completely different take on her. It was, you know, Brigitte, lovely Brigitte, all sweetness and light, you know, you will be forever remembered in our hearts. And then I had to think, okay, so how does this person get to the person that we've seen and the reports of the hostages of this, you know, violent, unpleasant, rude woman?
Anyone who tries to resist me will be shot!
I was born 78, but my parents talked about the 60s and 70s, and they talked, you know, about the huge conflicts among the young people who were fighting and strongly opposing against, you know, their parents' generation. That feeling of enormous guilt and hatred for, you know, that whole Nazi generation. But then to become a radical, this was, you know, something that you approach without fully understanding it or empathizing with it.
I want to throw bombs into the consciousness of the masses. And what if you have to throw a real bomb, my friend?
We didn't agree to this. I'm not a Nazi.
He didn't have personal reasons to do what he did. He was doing it for ideology, for Marxism. And as soon as things started to get really tough and he started being challenged by the hostages, and accused of being a Nazi, which for him was terrible because he was opposed to Nazism, he started to think, second guess what he had done and think critically.
It's almost like an exorcism that happened with them, that getting that out of your system, that shadow of the Nazi generation, that extreme hatred for your own country, that, you know, is the explanation to go so extreme and to hijack a plane with Jewish passengers. But not of a Nazi perspective, just exactly the contrary.
But you arrive at the same place. It just shows you the difference between ideology and reality. You have your ideology in your head, it drives you, you're committed to it, you believe in it, and then actually faced with the fact of terrified passengers who are in your power, you know, your belief starts to crumble somewhat. They do falter. They must have faltered.
Are you ready to kill? Are you ready to die?
If you're having doubts, you should leave.
The terrorists had an opportunity to kill the hostages once they knew that their cover had been blown. There was a time gap where nothing happened. It's short, but it was there. So what is the reason? The Israeli Defense Forces would claim that it just showed their lack of training. That under that kind of pressure, if you are not highly trained, you will not be able to act because the pressure is so great. Or, as some of the hostages intimate, they showed their true humanity at that point and were actually incapable of killing anyone. So, who knows? We don't know. But it's a story that has these gaps, and it's in the gaps that the interest lies, I think.
I do not know what you are scared of, Juan Pablo.
I'm not scared of anything. But maybe you should be.
I only fear a life without meaning.